Day 3 of the Austin Major. We are rapidly closing out the first stage. Every single game is consequential. It is do or die, qualify or go home. And we have 6, yes, 6, which is just what I love to hear, best of 3s to get through today. And hopefully, we are going in tomorrow with our diamond coin still very much possible, which for me, at least as of when I am recording this, is rapidly looking worse and worse, but we'll get there when we get there. If you guys have been enjoying this daily coverage of the Blast Austin Major, make sure you show me by leaving a like, leaving a comment down below, and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. It helps out immensely in the YouTube algorithm, as well as reach my goal of reaching 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you guys for doing it, and finally, let's go ahead and thank today's sponsor. Austin, Texas, brother. The first American major in 7 years. 32 teams will enter, and only one will rise above and enter into history. While the action unfolds in the server, you can fight your own battles and predict who will win. 4 stages. Make the right choices and win awesome prizes. Show off to all your friends that you do in fact know ball. Participate in Skin Club's major pick'ems with the first stage starting on June 2nd. Check the top link in the description to go ahead and get started. And lastly, remember, Skin Club is an online gambling service. If you choose to play on Skin Club, please do so safely and responsibly. Do not gamble if you're under 18 or live in a country or jurisdiction that restricts gambling. Gambling addiction is a serious issue, and if you or a loved one are suffering from gambling addiction, you are not alone. If you live in the US or Canada, you can reach out toll-free to 1-800-GAMBLER for help. Please be safe, and thank you to Skin Club for sponsoring this video. So it seems like you guys really enjoyed hearing my predictions at the beginning of these recaps, so I think we're going to go ahead and make that a more regular thing. And if you want to see those predictions ahead of the video, you can of course follow me over on Twitter, LionHeartZ1337. Yes, it's an old handle. No, don't make fun of me for it. I will ban you. Anyways, my day 3 script goes as follows. I had Complexity beating Tyloo 2-1, I had Imperial beating Legacy 2-0, OG beating NRG 2-0, Lynn Vision beating the Chinggis Warriors 2-1, Wildcard beating BetBoom 2-1, and FlyQuest beating Nemiga 2-0. Now, I am recording this after the first couple games have finished, and I can tell you right now, I'm not exactly going to get a 7 out of 8 like I did yesterday, am I? And not off to a great start. In the first game of the day, we had Complexity take on Tyloo, and Tyloo fucking stomped Complexity. It was a 2-0. Yes, both these score lines are close, but if you watch these games live, I'm sure you'll agree with me, it was Jover. It felt hopeless for Complexity at many different points, and it was only through sheer miracle that the games were close to begin with. We open up on Train, which, as you may know, is Complexity's best map. Arguably, they are the best train team in the world, and, well, the game started out with Complexity getting out to a 6-2 lead, with Grim having just insane entry impact, so many multi-kills, just looking so good, so bald, so clean, so dominant. It didn't go much better after that, though, because as soon as Tyloo got on the board, they got on the board through some miracle clutches where Grim had to pull out heroics just to fall at the last hurdle. Tyloo would hold Complexity to only 2 more round wins and close the map out 13-8. From a 6-2 lead to a 13-8 loss on Complexity's best map. Oh my fucking god. And this is so conflicting, right? Because I've been saying for these last few days, I want Tyloo to play better, and they have played better. Like, they showed a lot of really good stuff in this game. I thought that their actual depth of firepower was finally really good. You got G to come online. Mosia had a great game. They had 3 players with 20+ kills in this first map. That is awesome. That's what you want to see. But at the expense of Complexity, it just hurts, because we all just have to say it. Like, this is always going to be the narrative, is that without Halzerk, it's just going to make every game a toss-up. And while Complexity still should have qualified out of this field, I will maintain that they should have, even with Junior. The reality is replacing your Opper is incredibly difficult. And like, we get into the second map on Inferno, and I felt like it was over immediately. Tyloo just run it down mid on the T side of Inferno, and Attacker just gets an ace. Like, alright dude, I guess whatever. You guys just, Chinese players play CS like they just so insanely aggressive, and on one hand I love it, but why at the expense of Complexity, dude? But But Complexity actually had a very strong start to this game in a way that I hadn't expected given how terribly they played on Train. Junior finally had some impact, had a lot of great rounds on the CT side. Grim maintained a solid level of form, and Nyx and Sixy, they finally woke up a little bit, and that made things a lot more tenable. But the reality is, even with a stand-in, if you go up 10-5, you should not be losing. And Complexity's T-side hit a brick wall as soon as we got the guns out for all parties, because Mercury had a godlike CT side. His second half play was incredible, 15 kills, 6 deaths, 1.74 rating. G had another fantastic half as well, going 11-3 with a 1.74 rating as well. And the firepower just fell criminally short. Grim could not find the form he had on the first map. No real impact from players like Sixy and Nyx. Junior went right back to just being not very good. Like, they kept hitting a brick wall over and over and over again. They couldn't get up into the B site several times. They couldn't find any success towards A. It was just total lockdown defense from Tyloo. Like, Inferno is one of those maps where if you can just get the bomb down, you're going to win those rounds. You're gonna have an extremely high conversion rate. Retaking on Inferno is hell. Teams are just gonna opt to save, but they didn't even get bombs down. During this 7-round stretch from Tyloo, they didn't get a single plant. Complexity only got 2 plants off this entire half. That's just unacceptable, man. It's just, it's tough, dude. On one hand, I want to be critical because I think that the pieces that are still on Complexity were good enough to get out of this stage. On the one hand, you want to give them a pass because of the Halzerk situation. It just sucks to go out like this, losing on your best map and then giving up a huge lead on the second. It's just a pitiful end, man. That's the only way to put it. All I know is that for the sake of my pick'ems, I need Tyloo to win tomorrow, which is a daunting thought, but hopefully they continue to play great. That's all I can hope. Our second series of the day was between Imperial and Legacy, which, if you guys will cast your mind back, I predicted Imperial to win 2-0. How'd that go? Fuck. This is such a weird game to analyze because all 3 maps were blowouts. No losing team got more than 5 rounds. It was 13-2 for Legacy on Inferno, 13-5 for Imperial on Dust 2, and then 13-4 on Mirage for Legacy. It's very hard to like have anything structural to say about games that were stomps. Both teams just ran each other over. Very much, I guess, and the chaotic nature that you'll often see from Brazilian on Brazilian CS like this, I guess. I'm trying to like find the takeaway here because Legacy were a team that I don't think anyone was really rooting for, had high expectations of. Obviously, they weren't even initially going to be in the major with the whole Bestia situation, and now they're here. You know, would Bestia have done any better? Who knows? Kind of hard to read the tea leaves on that one. Meanwhile, Imperial were a team that, again, much like Tyloo, had a lot higher expectations of, because despite their few appearances this year, the roster is quality. Like, the firepower is legit. But here, they could not find it. They could not find it when they needed it, except for on Dust 2, obviously. But even then, it wasn't like anything super inspired. There weren't any, like, insane hyper carry Nikados games. No, they just ran an 11-1 deficit on the first half on the T side of Dust 2. Like, that's just Dust 2 being Dust 2, I guess. Overall, is Legacy better than Imperial? I have no idea, but they played better Counter-Strike, at least on the maps that mattered. So, Imperial, they're eliminated. They're out, which means my pick'ems are now in dire straits. And, yeah, good way to start off the day going down 0-2 on predictions, I guess. But fair play to Legacy. I don't really have much more thoughts beyond that. Luckily, our next series, we kind of get back on track with the predictions because OG did in fact beat NRG 2-0. Pretty uncompetitive series as OG took a comfortable victory on Mirage 13-7 and then trounced NRG on Nuke 13-3. So we're not going to linger too much longer on this. This is not the end for NRG as they have one more chance tomorrow. Honestly, I don't really see how they were going to beat OG with how they've played so far at Stage 1. It just feels like OG are a roster that a lot of people should be taking more seriously, myself included, because so far, they've looked fantastic. I would say that they're, you know, close to being around the level of a team like Heroic. In fact, I don't really think you could argue that Heroic is significantly stronger, so we'll just have to wait and see if OG can maintain, or if this is just like an aberrant performance or whatever. But for here, they did what they needed to do. Prison, the in-game leader, was unreal on both games, which is not normally what you expect from a Danish IGL, but hey, I guess we all have to have our glaive moments from time to time. Yeah, for NRG, what really went wrong was OC and Bro had terrible series. And when those are two of your most impactful pieces, that's going to put you on the back foot. Hopefully NRG can show us a little bit of better form tomorrow and try and stay alive, though I think if I check the simulators, I kind of need them to lose tomorrow, potentially, for the sake of my pick'ems, but I need to double check that. Maybe NRG can get through, maybe we can have a little bit of NRG in the major still, just a bit. Okay, so before we get into this Chinggis Warriors versus Lynn Vision game, I have to just kind of preface it. Guys, please understand that I am one man producing these videos entirely by myself. I record all the rounds, I do all the editing, I do everything, just me. That means that with a tournament like the Major, it is a astounding amount of work to get these videos out to you guys on the same day. And I do think I might have bit off a bit more than I can chew if I want to maintain my current format where I go into a fair amount of detail about all of these games. I think the reality is that I have to be a bit more cutthroat and choosy with what games I go into detail on. Let's just kind of call it what it is. Lynn Vision and Chinggis Warriors aren't really teams that many people are expecting to go deep into this event. Sure, one of them is probably going to make it into the next stage, but you guys know what I mean. On like a grand scale, they are not one of the high-level teams that you expect to do much. So when you have a series like this that goes all 3 maps and overtime on the last, and generally speaking, it's a very back and forth, pretty intense game all in all, but in terms of the grand narrative for the tournament, I think it's fair to classify it as not as consequential as, say, like a Wildcard versus BetBoom, for example. So for games like this going forward, expect me to treat them similarly to how I've treated best of ones throughout this major coverage, where we are going to stick to very much kind of the overture, just talking about the scores, maybe 1 or 2 narratives, but trying to be pretty brief. It's just going to be what's best for me, my workflow, and more importantly, my sanity. Hopefully you guys understand. And with that, let's go ahead and talk about this series. Now, I did predict that Lynn Vision would win this, and I did also predict it would be all 3 games. Because I think Chinggis Warriors, 1, are not so bad that you would expect them just to kind of give up, but also this is a domestic game. This is Asia versus Asia, and when the Asian teams meet, it's a lot like when the Brazilians meet. It tends to be a whole lot of chaos, and that's what played out. This was a chaotic, messy, very hard to predict from round to round kind of series. We started out on Inferno, where Lynn Vision took a pretty comfortable win 13-9. On the following map on Nuke, Chinggis Warriors would strike back, with honestly a pretty good second half comeback on their T side to win at 13-10. And then we closed out with an honest-to-God rock fight on Ancient, where we had to go all the way into extras for Lynn Vision to pull out the win 16-13. Walking back to that Inferno map, Starry really came alive for Lynn Vision, who's been one of their more quiet players throughout this event, led the way with 21 kills, 8 deaths, and a 1.54 rating. Amelia and Zacher right behind him also had great performances. As I've said in earlier recaps, the thing with Lynn Vision is that they're going to live or die by Amelia and Zacher as their main carries. So Starry stepping up definitely matters because it takes weight off their shoulders, gives them a little bit more freedom. Zacher was very impressive with the AWP in his hands, definitely won the AWP matchup pretty handily. Meanwhile for the Chinggis Warriors, none of their players could get into the green, no one went for a positive rating, and that's going to kind of hamper you. They did have all 5 players reach double digits, but they couldn't find the timely moments of impact to really take over momentum. No real big clutches, no real big momentum swings like massive multi-kills. They couldn't really find that big kill shot to try and swing momentum into like a protracted save or really harm Lynn Vision's economy for a very long span of time. On Nuke, Chinggis Warriors fell behind early after conceding the pistol round and early momentum, but managed to battle back on their CT side effort to keep the half close 6-6, where Lynn Vision opened up with a great pistol round win before Chinggis Warriors stole it back on a force buy win on the round thereafter and flipped that into 5 straight T rounds to flip the game on its head. E-Fire and Rue both reaching double-digit kills in that second half to power this team through to victory. Meanwhile for Lynn Vision, Amelia had a monstrous first half with 14 kills, but only managed to get 2 more throughout the rest of the game once they switched sides. Zacher not much better, also putting up a terrible second half performance going 4-8. And then on that final map on Ancient, Lynn Vision did pull it out in the end, but if you look at the stats, and frankly if you watch the game, it's very interesting because I think many people would argue that Chinggis Warriors were the better team. If you look at it, Chinggis Warriors got more total kills, and they had just about as many first kills. So it's very weird when you see a situation where a team wins a map with nowhere near the first or second best player in the lobby. So what went wrong for Chinggis Warriors in that regard? were clutches, because Lynn Vision won 6 very consequential clutches down the stretch that made the difference. Those are swing rounds that could have prevented this game from ever going to overtime in the first place if Chinggis Warriors could have brought out at least a few of them. Which is a damn shame, because you had Controlas and E-Fire both drop 26 kill masterclasses, and you even had Coolest and Ariukul get to 18 kills apiece as well. You did your jobs, you just couldn't finish out a handful of rounds, and that's the difference between staying in the major and going home, and that's tough. That is tough. We'll see how Lynn Vision fares tomorrow. I believe they're going to play NRG now, because at the time of recording this section specifically, the games have just wrapped up for the day. And I believe I look over at the sim, yeah, they're playing NRG. So that's a fair shot for Lynn Vision to make the next stage for sure. And now we come to the most consequential and certainly the most painful for me game of the day, BetBoom taking on Wildcard. Because while I love BetBoom, and I love Bubblesj with all my heart, I will not downplay my love for this man, this beautiful, glorious man. I need Wildcard to win for my pick'ems, because at the current moment, for me to get Diamond Coin, or at least stay alive, I need all of Wildcard, Tyloo, and OG to make it through. And with OG winning earlier today, that means I just need Wildcard and Tyloo. If we could go into tomorrow with me only needed 1 game to go right, I'd feel a whole lot better than 2. Too bad Wildcard managed to toss away a great opportunity to at least make this series competitive. I would argue they could have won both maps easily. Instead, BetBoom walk away with a 2-0 victory. Both games went into overtime. Nuke, double OT, Anubis, regular overtime. And at the end of it all, Big Bubblesj with his gang of boomers on BetBoom have come out the other side victorious. This was a classic throwback nuke game, with both teams putting up 10-round CT side efforts on top of each other's heads. No T side could get anything successful going whatsoever. For BetBoom, we saw a lot of great success from Siren, especially, who was by far the most valuable player in this game. Right behind him, though, just as important, was Bubblesj himself. And I do want to parrot something that Maui Snake said on the desk after this game was over, and that's that Bubblesj is one of the most interesting IGLs in the world, for the fact that he will get out there and get a lot of impact himself, despite his reputation as a low-fragging IGL. He has many moments where he'll win killer clutches or get huge multi-kills out of nowhere and just bring momentum right back for his team when they absolutely need it. After losing 9 consecutive rounds on their way back into overtime, BetBoom are just itching for any kind of gun round success on their T-side effort. In the first round of overtime, it's going to be Bubblesj who gives it to them in hand. These are going to go very slow. A lot of map control developing. BetBoom are going to use the smokes to take outside control. They're going to work it down into a ramp and secret split. Bubblesj is going to get an opening pick onto Sus P, the ramp player. And right after that, Sonic's going to get one back outside of heaven, catching Zorte out of position. BetBoom move forward with the lower pinch, but Fozy's in an excellent position on the control stairs, where he gets an excellent double onto Magnajez and Axile, putting Bubblesj and Siren in a 2v4 situation. Siren is going to stand tall in front of the control window and get 2 immediate picks right back on the single door on Stanislaw JBA. Meanwhile, this distraction gives Bubblesj the opportunity to slink through control doors and towards the vent, walking right past Fozy, who's hard scoping the window. Siren is in distraction mode. He knows he needs to give Bubblesj time to get the plant down, and he's going to allow that before he goes down on the ramp, and then Bubblesj is going to play this clutch perfectly. Look what Bubblesj does here. He gets the plant, he makes a lot of noise going back to mini, he jumps, he makes as many sound cues as he can, and then immediately hard turns 180 and walks back to hut on the timing. And because Fozy is in vent, he realizes that, hey, I heard a lot of noise going outside. He positioned off-site. Sonic takes the call whole cloth and is running through hut with a grenade out, where Bubblesj is sitting there right there ready to spoil it. There's no other way to put this. This is fucking brilliant use of information to position yourself in a disadvantaged clutch situation, and Bubblesj finds both picks to get them back on the board. A fucking fantastic round from your IGL when your team is just itching for any kind of momentum. Wildcard would knuckle down to win the next 2 rounds pretty decisively as we swap sides and BetBoom get a chance to play the CT side once again. Trying to keep Wildcard off of match point, BetBoom would win 2 very, very good CT rounds, with Magnajez coming up really nice with a triple kill in the first round, and then Siren having some great impact holding the upper bomb site in the next. Meaning that BetBoom have once again captured match point first and put Wildcard on the back foot to force a second overtime. And Wildcard were itching for somebody to pull up with a clutch just as impactful as BetBoom, and they would find it. In a round that parallels what Bubblesj did very, very closely, it would be a late ramp hit from Wildcard. They get downstairs, try to push to the lower bomb site. Axile will come with a double kill before getting traded out. Bubblesj would get one back as well, and now it's a 2v4. It's Fozy and Sonic trying to make something happen, and Sonic just plays so ballsy in the control, taking a huge double swing into two BetBoom players just holding the double door, trying to get rid of the planter, and these aggressive Wii swings really prevent BetBoom from taking too much map control back, and with the help from Fozy after getting the bomb down, Sonic gets two of his own, and Fozy takes the initiative here. He pushes past the vents and walks past Siren, who just came down the vents himself. No way that BetBoom could predict that he got all the way to single door here, and Fozy plays this perfectly. The way he uses the intel of slipping in and out of the door, he handles his position in this clutch perfectly, just dicing up the angles to give himself 1v1s, and he hits both shots and forces double overtime. The only downside is that ultimately these efforts were inconsequential, as BetBoom would play the second overtime about as flawlessly as you could ask and end up taking the game 19-17. Overall, despite some great clutches from Wildcard, BetBoom felt decisively better in more moments than Wildcard did. And unfortunately, I feel like you could say the exact same thing when it comes to this next map on Anubis, because I don't even know how Wildcard allowed this to go to overtime in the first place. They found themselves up 11-8 with BetBoom on broken economy. All you have to do is lock this round down, and it's a match point with 4 tries to convert, and we're looking at a third map. And instead, you guys drop to a B pinch to 4 Tech 9s, 2 smokes, and a Molotov. How the fuck do you allow that to happen? Like, okay, listen, obviously it takes 2 to tango. BetBoom hit some great shots, but how? You have such an overwhelming weapon advantage. This is unbelievable, dude, because from this point on, Wildcard cannot win a single gun round to save their fucking lives. And somehow, the one round that they won to get this to be a potential overtime in the first place was off a JBA Hero Deagle and a single saved M4. You can't win the gun rounds, but you win the Miracle Deagle Hero Rifle buy? Come on, dude. Meanwhile, you have Bubblesj and Siren just pulling off heroics because they want their team to get through to the next round, man. Like, oh, it just feels like NA teams, and obviously, yes, Wildcard are only partly NA, but you get my point, they're an NA org. They just love to choke when the lights get bright, man. And now I'm staring down the barrel of needing both Wildcard and Tyloo to win tomorrow, or my pick'ems are fucking torched. Ugh, dude. So the thing, I tweeted this out like after the game is over. I'm so pissed about best of ones because this is how good BetBoom is. BetBoom are great in best of 3s. Like, holy shit. The only reason they didn't go 3-0 or at least had a chance to is because they had to play a best of 1 against Tyloo. Like, if this whole major was best of 3s, I would have been even more confident in saying BetBoom would go 3-0. I would have doubled and tripled down. Fucking put some respect on BetBoom, man. This team is really good. They're just anchored by Axile being terrible. And that brings us to our last series of the day, FlyQuest versus Nemiga. Now, I'm going to do kind of what I did with Chinggis Warriors versus Lynn Vision and kind of speed through this one because yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired. Anyways, FlyQuest are staring down the barrel of once again going 2-0 and then now facing elimination tomorrow, which is insane. And this team is just like the best of one merchant, man. That's the only way you can say it. It can't be luck for it to happen twice in a row and back-to-back majors that you guys get to the best of 3s and just can't figure it out. I mean, Nemiga are eminently beatable. I don't really rate this team. Like, I'm not exactly a big Nemiga fan. I've made that clear. But they look decisively better. They won 13-9 on Ancient, pretty convincing. Khan had an incredible hard carry. He went 20-12 with a 1.78 rating. How many op kills did he have? He had 7, but I mean, it felt like he got 27 the way he was playing. His impact on the second half specifically was kind of wild. And the big thing here, they won 8 straight rounds. FlyQuest were up 9-5 and then didn't win another round. And they had 3 separate post-plant opportunities that they just could not convert on. Like, Nedic and Vexite simply dropped off the face of the earth. Like, they both had really strong first halves. Like, Vexite had 12 kills, Nedic had 13. Oh, excuse me, stayed in the video. Second half, Vegt had 4, Nemiga had 6. Like, it's just, the fall off is just unreal, man. And I feel like just that bad mojo hanging over FlyQuest, I had a feeling something wrong would happen on Inferno too. And what do you know? We go over to Inferno. FlyQuest up 10-5 this time. And oops, oh god, they lost. How? How do you concede back-to-back 8-round streaks when you're vying for your slot in the major? Like, that's choking that needs to be studied. Like, you have Vergali and Nemiga fighting for God and country. Meanwhile, Vegt and Lian's just put up a lemon. My God. And the funniest thing, by far, the funniest fucking thing to happen out of this game, and I wish I could show it without getting copyrighted, was Lear, after the game was over, stands up, takes his headphones off, and shouts at FlyQuest, "Silence!" before sprinting off screen because he needs to go piss himself real quick. The funniest fucking sequence I have seen from a pro after a win ever. Anyways, what does this mean? Well, Nemiga are through, and Nemiga were a team I said wouldn't make it. So I guess you have pie on my face on that one. I didn't think they would. I did not rate Nemiga, and they still qualified. Fair play to them. I was wrong on that. I accept this L. However, for my pick'ems, it is now, getting real wild, because tomorrow I need Tyloo to beat FlyQuest, eliminate them from the major, and I need Wildcard to beat Legacy for my pick'ems to survive. Will it happen? I have no goddamn idea, especially when you consider my predictions today went 2 for 6. I'm not feeling that great, but who knows? The prediction god may rise again like the Phoenix from the ashes tomorrow and go perfect 3 for 3. If you want to see that happen, follow me on Twitter. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Skin Club for sponsoring this video. If you check the top link in the description, you get 7% deposit bonus next time you fill it. Please gamble safely and responsibly. It also takes you directly to Skin Club's own pick'ems, which are running alongside the major. You can play for free at that link and get opted into a giveaway for tons of free prizes if you get the correct pick'ems. Thank you to Skin Club for sponsoring this video, and let's go ahead and thank our channel members: Justin, Jesse, Furley, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Patatas Kaftesi, PTR, B1 Games, Cody Foxworthy, Justin Vander, Vegt, I'm Flashbang, Snowy White, Rowdy, Vergil'sPlasticChair, and Sid Pro 12. If you want to become a channel member, you can do so. Links down below for $5 a month to continue the video just like this, as well as custom on the community Discord. Follow me on Twitter, TV, just LionHeartZ. See you guys soon. Bye.